Check 1 2, check 1 2. Got to turn the volume down, and that would be me. What's going on, everybody, on that new Tuesday, Tua Tuesday here on the first Tuesday before the draft? We got a lot to go over. Got to get all these things in sync. Let me know if you can hear me. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Text 1 2 3. Not even sure how many people are going to show up tonight. You know, we got a lot of people in the TuaNon crowd that are pissed off at me, but, you know, we got to do this. We got to talk about it. I especially got to talk about my new sponsor. And this is going to be a short-term sponsor, probably for 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. But I'm just going to go ahead and play my sponsor message right now. Tune in and turn it up. So I got an advanced copy of that, not a copy, I got an advanced premiere of that movie. And all I can say is that as soon as I saw that premiere, as soon as I watched that movie, I knew they would be a perfect sponsor for Tua Tuesdays. I get approached by sponsors all the time. Believe it or not, I do get approached by sponsors all the time. I just have to make sure that a sponsor fits in with what I want to do. So in case you guys aren't aware of the story of George Foreman lost the fight after he had been champion. And he said he felt like the devil got knocked out of him. At which point he began preaching and he started a church. He became a very strong Christian man, which obviously ties into Tua Tuesdays. Even more so, he got knocked down. And he came back, which again ties into Tua Tuesdays. So I encourage you all to go see this movie. Bring your family. It's an incredible story. There were some things in there that I didn't even know. I didn't know that the guy basically died and saw God or saw heaven. I didn't know that. I knew he was a dump truck puncher and he could just blast on people, but I didn't know that he actually felt like he passed over and came back. It's an amazing story. It's a guy who got beat down, was on top, got beat down, became broke, had nothing else he could do. He signed a deal with this new little, what do you call it? The toaster thing, the Foreman grill. Made millions and gazillions from that, and then went back in the ring as well and re-won the heavyweight championship. And the rest is, as they say, history. Remind you of anybody else, you know? Remind you of some guy who maybe got knocked down and now has to come back this year? Some guy who, you know, was playing at the top of his game, the top, MVP quality. People talked about him as being an MVP candidate. Then he got knocked down, and now he's got to bring it back. He's got to bring it back. And he's got to bring it back big time, because there's some things happening in the media that we're going to cover tonight, that we're going to go in depth and talk about. Because right now it seems like there's, as I've said for a month or so, there's a crosshairs on the back of Tua. And, you know, the nuts on Twitter are who they are. And I don't want to basically impugn people or insult you. They attack me all the time, call me a flip-flopper. I'm an honest guy. I know, like I just saw that movie. Here's a guy who got knocked down, leaned on his family and his faith, and then came back to be champion. And that story just reminds me of what Tua can do. Absolutely. So it's just something I think a lot of people don't pay attention to. And so here's something else I just want to talk to you about. I am not a flip-flopper. I call things as I see them. As we know, Tua did fantastic in the first part of the season. Then the last part of the season, things tanked. So now it's time for redemption. We are in the redemption period. So let me see if I can play this just so everybody knows what I'm talking about. And here we go.
So in case anybody wants to know, I am a fan of Tua. I love Tua. I believe that Tua Tagovailoa is an elite quarterback when he's healthy. But when Tua is not healthy, he is no longer an elite quarterback. The Miami Dolphins cannot afford to miss 5 games from their starting quarterback. But however, I love Tua. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a great quarterback. That being said, let's get on with the rest of the video.
So So I did that in jest. I did that in fun. It pissed off some people. I don't really care. It's fun. It's amusing. Let's have some fun while we talk about football. Some of the discussions I see are so bad. I mean, just so bad. People are just saying some of the nastiest stuff about if you say Tua has the wrong color shoelaces on, they scream at you. Let's be adults. Let's be adults. So one of the things I wanted to talk about today, uh, man, here we go. And it just started. Let me see if I can cut to this real quick. All right. So as you guys may have been seeing, there's been a lot of these charts and pictures that have been popping up where people are rating the various quarterbacks in the American AFC, American Football Conference. And this one here, Tua is ranked number 9. I believe CBS put this one out. Number 9. And this guy says Tua Joshad, who's here in Palm Beach, is the 9th best quarterback in the AFC per CBS Sports. 9th best, according to CBS Sports. Then we get this one, which is from PFF, the AFC quarterbacks. And they list the top AFC quarterbacks, and that's the newly anointed Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. We don't know where he's playing yet. Justin Herbert, and all of a sudden, people are beginning to elevate Trevor Lawrence into that top quarterback discussion. Then I found this tweet really interesting, and it says, "The narrative has changed, folks. Notice ever since Tua's interview last week, talking about the concussion retirement, the media has been throwing around the name Trevor Lawrence in every conversation all of a sudden. All of a sudden, Tua has been removed from every conversation by the media." To show more, it says, even Dan Orlovsky has stepped back. And, it's just really interesting because I wrote, hey, Tua Tagovailoa being removed from the national conversation, you say? Remember someone telling you what was going to happen? And I remember that person being attacked for saying it. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. When in reality, no, I am not shocked. I told you this was going to happen. People told me I was crazy, I flip-flopped, I was a backstabber. No, I just know media. I've been involved in the media for a long, long time. A lot of experience in advertising and media, and I knew where they were going to go. I just didn't know how bad it was going to get. I knew it was going to be bad. I didn't know how bad it was going to get. So I want to play another video for you, and this is something I never thought I'd see coming. This is from Dan Orlovsky. Dan Orlovsky is who I thought was one of the top guys that backed Tua, and he said this today. Let's see if it plays here. All right, let's go here.
All right, so I was just thinking about this, and to put it into context, how ridiculous the AFC conference and their quarterback situation is. All right, so one of these guys is not going to make the playoffs next year. Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Deshaun Watson, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence. One of those guys is not going to the playoffs. I haven't even said other guys like Tua Tagovailoa. What happens in New England? Kenny Pickett and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, the conference is loaded. Again, out of that group of Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, or Trevor Lawrence, one of those guys is not going to go to the playoffs. The AFC conference and its quarterbacks are loaded. Russell Wilson might not even go to the playoffs. Gonna be crazy.
So Tua said,
yeah, it's going to be crazy. It's not going to be crazy. It is crazy. We're already at the point where people are beginning to move the chairs on the deck. Hopefully not of the Titanic. And I don't know if Aaron Rodgers actually signing was the catalyst for all this. It just seems really, really weird that just by that happening, everything seemed to change overnight. Obviously, the New York media was ecstatic about Aaron Rodgers. They're in New York. But they're pushing this narrative, and I just never thought I would hear Dan Orlovsky say something so crazy that he's basically putting Tua in that other category. You know, one of these guys, unfortunately, might not make the playoffs, but, you know, I'm not even mentioning these guys. I'm not going to bring up these guys. To me, that's just complete insanity. Tua is no longer, I mean, he's just being dismissed. So now is the time, I think, Tua needs to really step out there and say, hey guys, something's going on, and get the team behind him. The draft is what, 2 days. I'm going to be broadcasting it live. But one of the things I think is going to be important, because I think the media sees it, I think they get attacked every time they post something. I think personally, and I'm appealing to everybody right now, I think this fan base has to coalesce. I don't think people can continue to beat up other Dolphins fans, call them casuals, call them nuts, call them clowns. This is the same fan base. You need to coalesce behind Tua if you expect to overcome this media barrage that is just going to continue. There's no other way for this young man to rise to where he wants to unless he wins. He's got to win. And one of the things I've been concerned about that nobody ever wants to talk about is mindset. Mindset is incredibly important. Mindset is what's going to separate Tua, and I've heard this a couple times, and it's been scary to me, where people say Tua is, for lack of a better word, soft, and needs building up. He needs encouragement. If that's the case, you've just basically slit your arm in the ocean and telling the great white to come after you. If they think that you're soft, if they think that you're vulnerable to that extent that you need to be built up, that's not going to work. And so the fans who are out there just beating each other up, hey man, no more. I'm not your enemy. I'm starting Tua Tuesday today because I'm not the enemy. I'm critical. I want to see this team win. I want to see this guy succeed. But if it's true, it's true that Tua needs the support that everybody in the media is saying he needs, if that Samoan warrior needs that support, then we all need to give it to him. Stop trying to beat up other people because they don't say what you say. This is going to be a long 5 months. And let me stop there and take a few comments because I got some more stuff I want to get to. So let me look at my button here and pull up a comment. Here we go. See what Pablo says. And there it pops up. Is there any professional player in any sport that has been more maligned than Tua? Tua will do fine. That's what I think has to stop. I think the woe is me has to stop. Don't let it bother you. Ignore it. Just talk about the positive. Hey, listen, he's maligned. It's all right. They don't like him. You know, yes, there has been other professional players who've gotten it as bad or worse than him. And some of you guys might be younger, so you don't have to think back too far. Want me to tell you who it is? Think of Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow was just laughed at, just complete. I mean, yeah, he's a Christian as well. Is that the common denominator? I don't know. But stop feeling like it's all just on Tua. Tua is just a poor guy, and he's just the most maligned guy ever. No, this is sports. This is sports media. These guys are going to talk about whatever they feel that they need to talk about to get what they need to get. So, Batman says, look, he's going to cry. I'm not going to cry, and I hope to God Tua is not going to cry, because one of the things I had a guy last year who gave me a theme song to use, and that theme song was Salty Tua. And I think we have to change the narrative. Don't beat each other up. Don't bitch about what this guy thinks. Don't bitch about because somebody thinks he's not as good. It's all bets off the table. I don't want to hear any stats from last year. That don't mean shit. I don't care what he did in the first 5 games. Oh, he was the MVP candidate. He threw for $3,500 yards. He had 25 touchdowns. Blah, blah, blah. It doesn't mean anything. Wipe the slate. This is 2023. 2023 starts Thursday. Actually started on March 15th. We have free agency, and now we've got the draft. We've had OTAs. We're going to have mandatory mini camps. It's starting now. And so throw away the videos of what Tua did last year. It doesn't matter. throw away all your comments on who you think's a real fan and not a real fan. At this point, it's all starting. So, and these are the kind of comments that to me sound like hopium. Tua will be fine this year. Really? How do you know? How do you know? You hope he will. We all hope he will. But you just can't say that. I mean, that's why the media is eating him up. And I'm going to play something in a second that I think might get you to try and think. Oh, yeah, but Mr. Baldylocks, Salty Tua coming up. It's definitely going to be the theme next week moving forward. Salty Tua. And maybe he'll see it and realize, yeah, I need to stop back. You know what? You know what would stop all the Tom Brady talk? Even me. You know what would stop all of the Lamar Jackson, all that kind of talk, doing everything? For Tua to step up, be that Samoan warrior, be Salty Tua and go, you know what? I'm the guy. And I mean, you see Aaron Rodgers do. You see some of these guys are cocky as hell. And obviously Tua doesn't have the same kind of personality, but maybe that's what's needed. Maybe he needs to call some of these guys out. I'm not sure. Let's see. Oh, here we go. That's why I played the George Foreman thing. God has a plan. I'm not going to preach tonight. I'm not going to go too deep. You saw the George Foreman, promotion. Got to go see that movie. It definitely has a plan. And I think people don't realize that you can't destroy each other as that plan's being worked on, so let's go here. It'll never stop. Finn's Take CB3 says it'll never stop. Nope, it won't. I mean, strap in right now. It's not going to stop because there's no game until September, first week September, and so it's not going to stop. So I want you to realize that we've got 5 months of this. 5 months, and the stories are only going to continue. It's only going to get worse, and there's nothing. Any fan on Twitter, any fan on YouTube, any commenter, there is nothing you can do until he plays that first game. And when he plays that first game, that's when things are going to calm down. If, and everything's an if he balls out. God forbid he tanks it on the first game of the season when we see who it is. But I want to play this video for you. This is a video with Marcellus Wiley. Used to play for the Chargers, the Cowboys, the Buffalo Bills. Been around. Used to be on Fox Sports 1. He has his own little podcast right now, as we all do. And he brought up some interesting things in his video. Now understand, he talks a little streetwise, and I'll try to stop and explain it to you what he's saying and interpret it, but I want you to hear from the mindset of a player what he's talking about.
At first it was about his son, and it was about his family, but then he brought it back. It's about Tua. Now, we know Tua's a beast. We know Tua's a worker. And I'm glad he got his flowers last year, even though we kept throwing flower petal after petal and just saying, damn, we got to stop throwing them because he kept missing action. But.
All right. Everybody prays Tua. When he means flower, you're giving them stuff. When you see the people and they're throwing flowers or rice at a wedding and they're all hailing and everybody's like, oh, there they go, there they. And everybody, including myself, was completely excited. And we were just throwing the flowers out there, man, throwing the flower petals out there because he deserved it. He earned our recognition. He earned those flower petals. Then he became not available. And that's what Marcellus is talking about.
For a guy who was kind of in question of how good he could translate his skills, I think he answered most, if not all, those questions last year, even in that spot duty. Tua wants it himself. Tua went out there and started challenging himself to figure out ways to get this situation handled. And this is going to be interesting. He's been doing jiu-jitsu, right? To learn how to fall, basically.
All right. That's what we've been told. We've been told he's taking the jiu-jitsu classes and he's trying to learn how to fall. It was interesting that he said something there. He goes that Tua took the initiative. We don't know that. We don't know who said, hey, listen, go learn how to fall. I mean, I can't imagine a 24 or 25-year-old professional football player in the prime of his career or going into the prime of his career, someone having to tell you, you have to learn how to fall. But whatever happened, however it came about, he's out there and supposedly he's trying to learn how to fall.
He's training himself how to fall. And this is something I've always talked to fans about because I got in a couple accidents before and I was able to maneuver in the air because I had learned how to fall. Now, I didn't take jiu-jitsu. I just played enough football and was conscious enough like, yo, there are different ways to land on this ground. There are alternatives to just taking all the hell every single play, right? So Tua's now learned that. And supposedly he said all offseason he's been thrown up in the air, landing on the ground, contorted all these different ways to learn how to fall, to stop that simple fall, right? You see a little kid fall. A little kid always falls like the same way, like neck loose, just limber, and fall that way. Tua is now working on that fall.
All right. So Tua is learning how to fall. I learned how to fall at a very early age because I fell off a horse when I was a kid. And then, of course, I was rambunctious and running around the yard. And when I say as a kid, we're talking 8, 9 years old, and then playing midget football, and then playing little league and learning how to slide and doing different things with your body and understanding your body mechanics and understanding when you get ready to hit the ground, tuck. It's very simple. It's instinctive. I don't know why he needs to be taught it. It's very instinctive. I mean, it's boom. You're going to go down, tuck. Don't let your head just dangle around. You tuck. You tuck it very quickly. But he's had to learn that. It's something that comes natural to a lot of football players and athletes in various sports. Is you put your head down to protect it. So,
is that going to translate to when the game comes? I hope so, because I want Tua to keep balling, and I don't want Tua to be interrupted from his balling just because of concussions. But he did ask himself about retiring, and the old saying is, once you think about retiring, you are retiring.
That is the problem. To me, that is what's the problem with the media right now. A warrior, a player, does not mention the word retirement ever. And some don't mention it until they actually retire. We saw Tom Brady, he retired, he had to come back, he still had to fire. Aaron Rodgers, well, I thought about retiring. Same thing. People said, hey, you've already stuck your foot in the bucket at this point. You're going to come back, because that mindset is a lot different. And a lot of players and a lot of ex-players believe if you start talking retirement, you're already on that boat. And what he's going to talk about next kind of reinforces that. And I can guarantee you, nobody has been talking about what he's about to say. And it's something, I'm just going to let him say it so you can get it.
I don't know, but let's say this. What if Tua gets rocked? Not even knocked out. There's a difference, right? Get your bell rung. Like, oh, my God. Is Tua going to be incentivized to tell anybody?
Now, that becomes the problem. I mean, many of us have played the game and seriously got our bell rung. Not a concussion, but like, woof, whoa, that was a decent hit. Now Tua has to wonder if he says that, if he has that reaction, if his head just goes like that, he just wants to shake it off. What do? Your instantaneous reaction, not even a concussion, your instantaneous reaction. Somebody pops you get stuck in the gut, not just your head. You just sit there and shake it off. You're told, hey, listen, I got the little cobwebs. I'm not concussed. I just have to shake it off. What's Tua going to do at that point? What are the spotters from the NFL going to do if they see Tua shaking something off? You've seen guys come and go off the sidelines all the time, and they're doing this with their arm, or they're trying to do something, or their neck's not feeling. What do you think the spotters are going to do when they see Tua do that? Most importantly, what is Tua going to do? What does he say to McDaniel? What does he say to the trainer? What does he say to the other players? I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine. I can go. At that point, there's a problem. If I were him, I don't want to ever let anybody know that I got my bell rung. You talk about learning how to fall and keeping your chin to your chest so you don't hurt your neck. You got to learn not to even show any emotion like, oh, that hurt. Oh, that, yeah, whew, wow. People, every camera from every game is going to be fixed onto it. And if he gets tackled, it's going to zoom. We're going to see a zoom. What's to his reaction? That was a tough, hard hit. What's he do when he gets up? Is he on one knee? Is he able to stand up? Every single time. But it goes further than that, much further.
2, is Tua going to want to actually do what's necessary to recover from that, or is he going to play it off?
And that's what I was saying. At that point, you get dinged. You get stuck. And some of you who haven't played football may not understand it, but you don't have to get a concussion. It doesn't have to be something that dings you that bad where you're seeing stars and you can't function. I'm talking about a normal stick, a normal tackle where somebody just sticks their helmet in his chest and drops him. What happens? That's one of my fears. That's one of my fears is because at some point, this stuff may be out of his control. And if it's out of his control, then it's out of McDaniel's control. If it's out of McDaniel's control, it's out of the team's control. That's what he's saying.
Raising my hand, coach, I'm playing it off. Right? I am not going to let y'all end on my 3rd or 4th concussion. So now Tua is in that position. So when something else happens to him, he's not going to get the proper medical attention, probably.
I'm not going to let you know. That's where you draw that line. Okay, he's a player. He understands. Even Marcellus Wiley looked at this one 3rd or 4th because people still aren't sure about what happened in the Buffalo game. They're still relying on, talk. Everyone says 2 or 3. And what happens? He gets that next one. It goes to 3 or 4. And then what happens? How does Tua react? That's the kind of stuff that this media is going to be talking about because they're already talking about it now and they're basically discounting him. I've seen people say, well, what about Kenny Pickett? And what about this guy? And what about that guy? It doesn't matter. Stop trying to do the whataboutism. We have an issue with this quarterback who has to be protected, who has to learn how to fall, who doesn't have the currency. Doesn't have the currency banked with the NFL to say, I'm good, it's okay. That's what I'm trying to impart upon you. It doesn't mean I flip-flopped. Doesn't mean I turned my back on them. These are all questions, and everybody is asking them. But here's the biggest one.
Then, are you going to now take it from there to should you retire? Is the sun going to stop you from that thought process, from actually retiring? Your family? I know you make a grip playing football, and you make 2 grips when you play quarterback in the NFL. But at the same time, what's going to stop Tua from playing?
I told you he talks a little streetwise. Grip mean cash. You make some money playing in the NFL, and you make two grips playing at quarterback in the NFL. So he just got his contract 5th-year option taken. It's going to be looking at $23 million. If he plays this year and balls out, he's probably looking at a $200 million contract if he can get through the season. And there's no way a player, number one, wants to come off the field. And number 2, they don't want the team to pull him off the field. And number 3, you've got this kind of scrutiny on this young man to where they're going to say, I mean, we were told that they yanked him out of the Green Bay game in the playoff. The team yanked him out. Who knows what the story is? But now this next part that Marcellus talks about is, to me, the gravy. This is the only thing that matters in regards to Tua.
A concussion where he's forced to stop playing, medically not approved, or is Tua finally going to have to say, if he gets another concussion, enough is enough? These are all the things he's thinking about before he says, "Blue 98, 98." Yeah, get it now? Man, football is so much more than those muscles and those pads we see on the outside. It's all these things going on in the mentals as well.
Did you get that? Okay, let me break it down since he talked game and he talked street there. What he's saying is you have to have a mindset when you step on the field. Same kind of mindset when you get in your car. When you get in your car, you don't say, "Oh my God, I'm about to leave my garage. I'm going to get on the street." Those of us who live down here in South Florida are going to drive on 595. "Oh my God, what am I going to do? I might get in an accident. If I get in an accident, what happens? Should I even go to the store? Should I go to Sawgrass and go to the mall? I've got to go on 595, and then I've got to get on, the expressway out there. Do I do all that?" Nobody thinks that. At least I hope none of you think that. I think you all just get in your car and say, "Phew, I'm gone." But Tua's got these weights sitting on his shoulder. And before he gets under snap, before he has to remember the play, before he has to make his read, before he has to see if there's going to be an out route or an in route, or if they're going to change the route at all, before he looks at all that, what's the win? Where do I have to put the ball? Before all that, he's like, "Oh shit, I can't get hit. I can't worry about getting hit." But you already are. It's already in your mind. That's what I don't understand, or I'm worried that he might not be able to do that because he knows on any snap that could be it. So you could say, well, on any player they think like that. Nope, that doesn't happen. No, there's no other players who are going to have to worry about all of the things that Tua is going to have to worry about. He is going to need everybody's support because the littlest injury, everyone's going to go, "Whoop, no, he turned his ankle. He's injury prone. He's not going to make it." And he is going to carry that burden into the first huddle of the season because he's not going to get hit until September. I guarantee you in OTAs he's going to have the big red jersey on. I doubt we'll see anything in preseason. If not, it'll be hand off the ball, get out the way. He's not going to get hit until the first game, which makes it, in my mind, worse. I almost think that Mike McDaniel has to put him in preseason and say, "All right, man, take the training wheels off. Take those training wheels off. Get that first hit." I don't know if you guys remember back to, I believe it was the Pittsburgh game, and he ran after, the Cincinnati concussion. And Mike McDaniel went, "What the hell are you doing?" And he came back to the huddle. Do you remember what he said? I'm looking in the thing here. Do you guys remember what he said to Mike McDaniel after he made that run in the Pittsburgh game? So I'm looking here. I don't see anybody saying it. He went to the sidelines after he got hit in the Pittsburgh game and said, "I needed that." Look it up. Go find the old video. He said, "I needed that." Why did you need that, Tua? Because I needed to know that I could still take a hit, that I was still the man, that I was still a man, that I could actually play this game at full speed. I needed that. He's going to need it in September. I guarantee you that's in his mind. You just heard Marcella say it. You can't go up there and call signals without it being on your shoulders. What's going to happen when I take that first hit? When that first linebacker comes in and takes me out? Am I going to be okay? I need that, coach. I need to get hit. So wince, cover your eyes, do whatever you need to do, but it's got to come early. It's got to come early in September. He's got to take that hit. That one day he can go, "Whew, I'm okay. I'm okay, man. I am fine. I'm going to be okay. Let's play this game." Because it's in his mind. No other player in the league right now is sitting with everybody looking at him and saying, if he gets another one, NFL is going to make the call and get him off the field. That's what bothers me. So let me finish this with Marcellus.
And the organization is sitting there. Let's watch this draft. Let's see how they play it off in terms of having their backup situation, in terms of not just on the roster currently, but growth, blossoming, late bloomer. We'll see what falls to them. So Tua has a lot on his head, pun intended. A lot on his plate, man, to just think about.
Yeah. So this isn't just a linebacker or a wide receiver or a tight end or a fullback. Everything that a quarterback has to think about, now he's got a lot on his head, is exactly right. And all these fans who want us to shut up, no one's going to shut up. You're wasting your breath putting out bad comments to people, completely wasting your breath. Call it a hater or not. You just heard a former NFL player just tell you, if you didn't want to listen to me, listen to some of the players. Boomer Esiason did a video which freaked everybody out because he just completely dismissed Tua. He goes, Dolphins got to move on. He mentioned retirement. You got to move on. Players understand the psyche you have to have to play in the NFL. The Dolphins play some of the biggest guys coming this year. The Kansas City Chiefs with Chris Jones coming in on the end. You got the Chargers with the Bosa boy. You've got Micah Parsons with the Cowboys. Do you think they're going to let up if they got a shot to take something out on Tua? They're going to take him down. They are absolutely going to take him down. And you know who knows that? Tua knows it. Tua absolutely knows that. So let's let me look at some things here from some of you guys. It says it's the awkward falls that's causing him concussions. Yeah, that's what we're told. It's hitting the back of his head. So, learn how to tuck. Absolutely. I don't think anybody is scared. See the Twitter bravado, the comment bravado. Ain't nobody scared. He's not scared. That's just not it, man. Why do you keep saying it? There are more games. What's it say? There are more games, but those are the ones off the dome. Yep, absolutely. Can we run? This is a good one. Can we run some film on all the hits Tua took, please, to debunk this narrative? Sure, go ahead. See how many times he was tackled after a play and what happened. But also, when you look at that film, when you look at those plays where he took a hit and got up, look at all that information with a different perspective. Look through a different lens. Did he get up and shake his head? Did he show any signs of something happened? Because that's the lens he's going to be under come this year. Yeah, so no, nobody's scared of anybody. I'm not saying that. Kahuna, yeah, he's slow and he'll get stronger in time. Okay. I sincerely hope, and I don't think there's any way to doubt that whatsoever. I think that he is a strong Samoan. People say the kid is small. So people asked the other day about his size, and he's listed at 6'1" and 215, 220. He looks a little bit heavier right now. It looks like he's done some bulking up, which is good. But remember what he said, not what other people said. He said, I have a problem looking over the line. Some of the problems that are inflicted are self-inflicted wounds. Tua says things. He said something about the retirement. He said something about not being able to see over the line. These are things that you shouldn't say. Hey, Tua, when you got hurt, had your concussion, you were out at Green Bay, did you consider retirement? The answer would have been, I spoke to my doctors, I spoke to my wife, I spoke to my family, we all got together, and I realized that the doctors advised me that I could continue playing. Be a politician. Answer a question without saying anything. Instead, Tua goes, yeah, I considered it. Yeah, I thought about it. Whoa, boom, lights go off. Learn how to deflect the questions the same way you learn how to fall. Hey, Tua, do you think you might get another concussion? I mean, the interview he did with Maria Taylor way back when he came back from the pit, that's a kind of interview, but it was softball. These reporters are out there trying to get him to say something, and he did. Hey, did you consider retirement? Yeah, I considered it. I went, oh my God. That night, I just shook my head and went, oh my God, he just said that. He said that on an open mic, when all he would have had to say is, guys, hey, I'm a football player. I'm the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. I have a child. I have a wife. I have parents. I have doctors. We took care of it. I'm ready to play. All right, don't answer it. They're not going to ask you a second time. They're not going to raise your hand. Hey, you didn't answer that question. Can you give us the answer? That's not going to happen. So, nothing's wrong with Tua's authenticity. When is it a crime to speak the truth? Well, obviously, you just found out. You just answered your own question. Authenticity works except when it's not supposed to be authentic. Hey, Mike McDaniel, what do you think about the defense of the Miami Dolphins? Oh, I think they did very well. I'm really proud of them. 2 days later, Josh Boyer's in the unemployment line. You have to understand you are on a pedestal in front of the entire media. Sometimes authenticity that you're looking for the vulnerability. You want to embrace this guy. They're not thinking that. If he wants to go to the Tua Luau and he wants to talk to some people and say, I just want to be authentic and tell you how I'm feeling, sure. Hey, do you think you're going to retire soon? That's not the time to be authentic. Just go back and look at Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel and how they orchestrated press conferences after the Green Bay game. You'd be amazed at what they say without saying it. Just ignored certain questions and answered according to what they want. Go watch a politician talk. Hey, do you plan on raising taxes? No, I just think that rich people should pay their fair share. So are you going to raise taxes? No, I just think that rich people have been getting away for a long time without paying their fair share. They never answer the question. You want authenticity? You're putting Tua on the chopping block because of your feelings, not his. What are you saying here? Here we go again. Just say what you mean and mean what you say. You don't like it. Tough. I can't deal with some of you people. Just enough with your emotions. This is football. Jeez, man. It's football. Aaron Rodgers goes into the sweat tent. He goes away to find himself. And he's on Pat McAfee every Tuesday saying what he wants to. He chose an outlet where he felt comfortable. He didn't do press conferences. I went to Pat McAfee show, and I'm going to sit there on a couch, and I'm going to shoot the shit with Pat, and I know I'm in a safe environment I control. Why won't Tua do that? Why won't Tua sit in a controlled environment? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing at all wrong with that. So let's continue here with the next video. So who do I have up next?
And then you still got to play like you never thought about a concussion because you got to get mindless out there. If you don't get mindless out there, dog, you're just playing handicapped. You're just playing out there with a crutch. You got to ball till you fall. You can't ball till you crawl and then fall. You can't stall the ball when you fall. You get it?
No, actually, I don't. He kind of lost me on that one, except for the fact of the mindset. At this point, Tua Tagovailoa is in a huge media microscope. The fans want the authenticity. The fans want to embrace Tua. The media wants to destroy him. That balance has to come somewhere because you have 5 months and you got to think about the guy at this point. And I'm talking about Tua himself, the guy Tua, and what he's going to have to do to get through the next 5 months before he even puts his hand under Connor Williams' butt to take a snap. All this stuff is just going to be going on in your mindset. Am I going to get hurt? Am I not going to get hurt? Oh, no, I don't want to even think about that. I don't want to think about what might happen. Let me throw this past to Tyreek. Let me stand in here. Let me stand up. Let me make sure the boss is not going to take off my head. But I have to play as if nothing is going to happen. That's what he's going to have to do. Absolutely.
And that's the toughest part about sports. That's why you got to salute the greats. Because somehow, some way, they kept getting knocked down, but they didn't hit their head, stay down, and they found a way to get up.
Last year, during the Super Bowl, before the Super Bowl, wasn't the same type of injury with soft tissue. Patrick Mahomes hurt his leg, his ankle, could barely walk some of the time. But you have to find a way to stay on the field. You have to, especially with the schedule the Dolphins have coming up, you have to find a way to stay on the field. No other choice. So what's the next video that I want you to see here?
Mike.
All right, so this one you got to hear. This is Mike Florio talking to Joe Rose. It's not a video, it's an audio, but I just put a picture up. This one here, you got to hear some of this stuff here. This is about 6 minutes long. I'll try not to butcher it too much, but listen to this stuff.
Good morning, and yes, Tua, boy, in the middle of the hockey playoffs and NBA playoffs, and Tua talks and takes the whole story away from all the sports in this country. Amazing.
That, people say, Barry, why do you talk about Tua so much? Well, if I didn't talk about Tua, I wouldn't have the numbers I have. If I didn't talk about Tua, I wouldn't have George Foreman's as a sponsorship, the movie as a sponsorship. Everybody in the media knows there are 3, maybe 4, I'd say maybe 4 really magnets for eyeballs. Tua Tagovailoa, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Joe Burrow, and Patrick Mahomes. Not even Herbert. Those guys, if you get out there and you start talking about those guys, people want to see what you have to say. So as soon as, and that's what goes back to the technique for dealing with PR, Tua has to know that. Tua has to know at this point. Someone in his camp has to say, you are a lightning rod for the media. You are people, when you speak, you suck the air out of the room and people want to hear your every friggin' word. As much as he's taken jujitsu to learn how to fall, one of the other things someone has to do is get him a media consultant so you know how to take the questions that aren't going to get you in trouble. And when I mean trouble, I mean it just went nuts as soon as he mentioned the word retirement.
Well, you're right, but that's what the NFL does. We're just a few weeks away from the schedule coming out, which we already know who's playing who and where. But when the when is applied, that becomes the biggest sports story in America as well. So, look, Tua Tagovailoa is a guy who moves the needle because of the fact that he's had multiple concussions, and every time he does, it becomes a national news story, not just a national sports story. And he comes out and says he considered retirement. He explained that he believes he's not at great risk of CTE because he believes that's something that happens more frequently when you've got repeated low-impact hits, offensive linemen, defensive linemen, linebackers. And, there's a lot of interesting stuff that he said. The bottom line is this, Joe. Whether he's cleared to play or wants to play, at some point, if you just can't play, if you're out because your head strikes the ground, because the physics aren't on your side, that was a point you made when this was all happening, and you're concussed and you don't get cleared for multiple weeks at a time, the team's going to find somebody else.
Bingo. Not me, not other people, the team. The team has to look elsewhere because the team has to keep moving. They can't rely on somebody who's not going to be on the field. I want to stop for a second because I get this question quite a bit. Hopefully I can answer it for the last time. All right. So is that why you start? He's talking about Tua being in the media. Is that why you started this channel, Barry? Are you really a Dolphins fan? Just asking. So I'm going to ask this for the last time. You guys can cut it. You can put it on Twitter. Do whatever you want with it. I started this channel as a real estate channel, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago, when we were looking to get leads for homes, and I was looking to compile investors to buy homes, and it was working very well. And then I just wanted to have some fun. I wanted to have some fun with YouTube. And so I looked around and I said, you know what? I'm here in South Florida. I enjoy the Dolphins. I'm a fan of Tua Tagovailoa. I liked him all the way back in Alabama. Let me do some research in terms of what's going on and see if I can't make this thing work. And I did some research and I looked around and I said, I think with my marketing and with what I can do, I can go ahead and make a go of this. because the last thing anybody wants to do is make videos but nobody watches. You don't want to waste the time. When I was doing real estate, I didn't need tens and thousands of views. If I talked to the right 50 people, and those 50 people had 100, 200, 300,000, $750,000 that they wanted to invest or buy a property, that's a home run. And it allowed me to build a database of probably close to 4,000 savvy, cash-rich investors. So where I don't have to look for real estate leads right now. So if I want to buy a house, I can go look at a house. I can make an offer. If I get the offer, we can stroke them a check from the title company and we just pay for it. Don't even need a mortgage. That's how well YouTube worked in real estate. But now I'm at a point where I've got grandkids. We just moved into a new house. You guys can see it here. We're in a new house. And I said, I want to have a trajectory as to where I want to take this thing. And when you're looking at YouTube, you look at to see, number one, can you talk about the subject matter? With real estate, I never needed a script. I could just log on, do a video for 4 or 5 minutes, talk about South Florida real estate, talk about the different neighborhoods, talk about the benefits, boom, I'm done. Looking at this in terms of the Dolphins, I actually had to dig in and learn more. So that's why I chose the Miami Dolphins as a football channel. Am I a fan? I hope I can answer that in this one way. I would not be paying for a suite. I would not be going down to the games. I would not be spending my time doing this if I wasn't a fan. People have asked me, well, Barry, aren't you a Cowboy fan? Yep. Yes, I am. Barry, aren't you a Patriots fan? Not now. I was a Patriots fan when Tom Brady played. So, Barry, were you a Tampa Bay Bucks fan? Yeah, when Tom Brady played, I was a Tampa Bay Bucks fan. What? I'm a Notre Dame fan. I'm a Boston Red Sox fan. I love sports. So, I am not that 40 or 50-year fan that's been longing and going through the mud and has been dying. I don't get emotional about any game. This is fun for me. I've been talking now for 58 minutes. It's fun. I enjoy talking to you guys. Somebody goes, you can't be a Patriots fan and a Dolphins fan, Barry. I'm sorry. Who says? I told you I wasn't a Patriots fan anymore because obviously Tom Brady's not playing for anymore. But you actually just put a comment. I'm sorry, I just saw Pablo. Oh, this is just funny. Sweet, sell me clothes, I'm going to heaven. Barry, who knew? I have some videos of us in the suite, and it's if you guys haven't had the chance to visit a suite at the Hard Rock, the game experience is something like you've never imagined. When I go to park, I pull right up front. Don't have to look for a parking space. It's right out front of the north gate. I go in, I get scanned in. You take the escalator up to your suite. Once you get to your suite, the food's already there. You have whatever the wife has picked for the menu for that day. She gets that like a day or two in advance. She says, I want chicken, I want quesadillas, I want barbecue, I want hot dogs, I want nachos, I want chicken fingers, and I want this bottle of wine, this beer, not Bud Light, and this, and this, and this, and this. And it's all there. And you've got 14 seats looking over the field, and it's air conditioned. Why would I not love that? Why would I not go down and enjoy that? Why would anyone who's not a fan go ahead and spend the money to go to a suite? So to answer your question, I can be a fan of whoever I want, but yes, I am a Miami Dolphins fan, and I'll wear that shirt and I'll wear that hat. I'm just not a craze fan. I enjoy the game. I enjoy the people. I enjoy you guys. You're not a fan if you like this team or that team. Yeah, get out of here. All right, so let's continue with Mike Florio here.
I still am surprised they picked up the fifth-year option. Chris Sims and I were trying to make sense of that earlier this week. I really do think at some level they know that they need to have him in the right mindset going into his fourth season, and they didn't want him to be worried about his status for 2024. I think that's one of the reasons why they picked up the option. They're trying to help support him and help.
And now, see, here we go again. The Dolphins are spending $20 million to help support him mentally. That's absolutely nuts. It's almost as nuts as this guy here saying, I'm a lifelong Dolphins fan. We're just different. You're bandwagon. That's nuts. Okay, that's absolutely nuts. I remember, and probably some of you guys remember wearing the bags over your head because the Dolphins suck so bad? So why would I be on a bandwagon? By the way, if this was the bandwagon, I'd be on, Kansas City Chief. They won the Super Bowl. Dolphins haven't won anything. So what bandwagon are we on? I picked a really bad bandwagon for a team that hasn't won a playoff game in decades. Bandwagon, huh? Whew, man, you're out of here. So enough of that shit. Let's continue.
Can be as good as he can be, but at some point, if he continues to have these issues, the Dolphins will find somebody else, because look around the NFL. Other than Kenny Pickett, who had 2 concussions last year, there's no other quarterback out there that we look at and say, we have to worry about head injuries with this guy. We have to worry about whether he's going to be available to play.
Now, see what he just said? There's no other quarterback in the league, including Kenny Pickett, do we have to wonder, are we going to have to worry about him playing? So now you've heard from 3 people, Orlovsky, Marcellus Wiley, now Florio, all saying the same thing. Now I'm playing Florio because he says something different in a bit that I want you to hear.
What do you think about his breakdown of the jiu-jitsu, trying to explain it the best that he could? I thought his press conference was really good, like you did. He's pretty honest about a lot of things. What do you think of the jiu-jitsu stuff?
I think it all makes sense, but, Joe, there's a big difference between what you do when you're practicing jiu-jitsu and what you do in a game. Now, Chris Sims says that, these high-end athletes are very good. They become very good at being conscious of what they're doing as they're doing it. But when you look at the hits that Tua took last year, the one against the Bills, the one where he got kind of flung and spun around 4 nights later in Cincinnati, the hit against the Packers on Christmas Day, I don't know what jiu-jitsu does to keep you from landing and hitting that way, because it all happens in a flash.
Exactly. That's the problem that nobody is explaining, that you're learning how to fall. Okay, that's great. You're learning how to tuck your head, hopefully. You're learning how to play. People are throwing you around. You're learning how not to get hurt. That's not a game situation. That's not with a 325-pound, 6'5" guy coming at you with 4.9 speed, looking to take your head off. Because you've got to get the snap, do your drop back, maybe do your play action fake, hit your receiver, and you're thinking, oh my God, I'm about to get hit. I better tuck my... It's got to be just instantaneous. And so jiu-jitsu can teach you how to do that stuff. I know when I took taekwondo, if it taught me, if I was into a fight, how to do my different blocks and do different things, and elbow bar and stuff. But positioning that into a football game, it's completely different, because things happen like that. You don't just have to learn how to do it. You have to learn how to apply it in real time.
It happens in a split second. And I don't know how much he can make falling the right way instinctive. I think the better thing is to get him to avoid contact, not what happens when I get hit and thrown. How do I avoid getting hit and thrown altogether, getting rid of the ball faster,
right,
making quicker decisions, and not being in a position where you've got to try to curl up into the right position so when you land on the ground, your head doesn't strike the turf.
Exactly. Now, I'm going to address this because I have to. Here's a guy who's listened to this other guy on YouTube. Instead of listening to his exact words, he says, quote, he didn't consider retiring. He had discussions about retirement with his family, and it was, no, I'm not retiring, in my opinion. Read that again. He didn't consider retirement. However, he had discussions about retirement with his family. What is going on with you people? You're twisting everything. His first words, was asked, were you considering retirement? His exact words, yes, I considered it for a while. Period. Then he carried on. He admitted it. I considered retirement for a while. And you got guys on the internet saying, no, he didn't say it. What he meant was, what do you mean what he meant? Are you saying Tua's an idiot? Are you saying he can't put sentences together? This is the kind of stuff that drives me crazy. He didn't consider retiring, but he had discussions about retirement with his family. Hey, honey, I'm thinking about moving to Tango Bango. You're considering it. No, I'm just talking to you about it. I'm not going to do it. Didn't cross my mind. It just came out of left field. I'm watching Survivor, and it looks like a nice place. And I'm like, hey, would you want to go to Bango Dango? And the wife goes, where'd that come from? I don't know. I just wanted to hear what you were going to say. I'm not thinking about it. I don't want to go to Pango. I just want to know what you think about it. Hey, honey, I'm thinking about no, honey, what about retiring? Oh, what did you say? Oh, I think I'm going to think about retirement, but I didn't bring it up. This is insane stuff. You guys got to stop. I know you're big fans, but I'm putting this up so other people can read it. He didn't consider retiring, but he had discussions about retirement. Did you even think what you just printed? Did you even think about that? Whew. Wow, man. Another level.
Got this thing in our backyard down here. Tom Brady's living down here. He's got his kids down here. His ex is living down here. He just, when he talks, he never, so I get it almost every day, like, hey, Brady might be coming to the Dolphins, huh? I get almost every day because Tom just never says, guys, I'm friggin' done. Leave me alone. I promise you, I'm never coming back. How do you read into the Tom Brady stuff, whether he's talking to corporate America or anything else that leaks out?
Well, I was stunned by what he said yesterday because there's a certain point where it's disrespectful to the guy who currently is the starting quarterback in Miami. And if I'm Tua, I'm reaching out through back channels to Tom Brady and asking him to politely shut the F up.
That's a salty Tua response I want to hear. As much as I was pushing for Brady to sign with the Miami Dolphins, I would love to hear Tua reach out back channel. He'll never say it in person. Maybe even have Tyreek say it, but hey, Brady, you know what? Shut the F up. Oh, God, how much would you pay to hear that conversation? That would be front news everywhere. Hey, Tom, how about you stick it and let me play this season? He'll never say it, but I think that's what's almost has to be done to get Tom Brady out the lips of people, especially now that Aaron Rodgers just signed with the New York Jets. And I don't know if you saw what the New York Jets GM said. He said that the best thing for Zach Wilson is to be side by side with Aaron Rodgers to learn how to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. Ooh, okay.
Because I'm the quarterback here. And if you want to come take my job, come take my job. But if you're truly retired and you're just doing this for attention or whatever, don't do it on my watch. Don't do it with my team. This is my job. And I'd like to see some of that edge from Tua from time to time. Because Tom Brady was asked a very simple question yesterday. Any chance you come out of retirement to play for the Dolphins? And the choices are, Joe, yes, no, I don't know, or some word salad that doesn't answer the question. And he did the word salad that doesn't answer the
And that's it. You coming out of retirement? Yes. Come out of retirement? No, which he's already said. And then the word salad stuff as well. So, there's a question here from Joey, and Joey says, do you think that the Dolphins are so calm about Tua because they think with their offensive scheme they can put any quarterback in and win? Like, I don't get it. So here's something you never see in the comments. When everybody says we're ready to ball out this year and we're stacked and everything is going to happen, I always raise my hand. I have a question. Do you not realize this is Tua's second year in this offense? This is Mike McDaniel's second year running this team. Do you realize last year nobody had any film on really what the Dolphins were doing in certain situations? Yeah, you were able to compile film during the season, but when these guys get down to brass tacks and they're looking at film, and I can tell you, you look at film and you look at film and you look at film, and then you categorize it, and then you put it in a computer. Show me their tendencies on 3rd and 1. Show me their tendencies on 2nd and 10. And you have every possible scenario, and you wrote the algorithm to show me what you think they're going to do. Everybody's talking about Vic Fangio stepping in as a defensive coordinator for the Dolphins. You don't think there's defensive coordinators on some of these teams who are looking at tape and going, oh, I see what McDaniel's doing here. So when he does this, when we see Tyreek go in motion here, when we see Waddle go in motion, when we see Alec Ingold step up to the line, I know what he's about to eat for dinner. I can't tell you, and you can go back and look at some of Peyton Manning's things, but when you have the availability of film, you also have to understand that this is the second year now of Mike running his offense, which means people now have data. They have data to look up and see, what does he do in this situation with this personnel set? And you can also combat that. So there's going to be a lot of chess matches, and you just can't say to yourself, hey, this is the second year, he's going to be much better. Well, it's also a lot more pressure as well. So that's the thing behind a second-year offense. Just trying to let you guys know.
Question, and everybody's laughing because they have to, because it's Tom Brady. Even though I've watched that clip 20 times, I don't know what was funny about it. But, I think it's disrespectful to the team, and it's definitely disrespectful to Tua for Tom Brady to be playing this game. Now, I poked around a little bit last night because I know people in the league who had told me previously that the Dolphins were in play for Tom Brady. And one of the people who believe that said, look, I really do think he's retired now, and he just does this because he just likes to stir things up.
I don't know. You guys buy that? You think Tom Brady just playing with people? You think he's just making shit up just to make it up and just to be in the front as a celebrity? I don't know. I don't see them being that type of guy who needs that kind of spotlight, but who knows?
And that's fine. But if I'm Tua, I don't like these stirring things up because it makes my situation look more tenuous, and it creates this impression there's this shadow hovering over me of Tom Brady possibly being the savior. If he's done, say it. He doesn't. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know why he would need to play this game. He's Tom Brady. He's won. The game is over. Just let the guys who are currently playing play. And that's why I think, even though he believes he's retired, Joe, I still think there's a chance he comes back because.
Whoa, wait. What did you just say?
As we get close to the start of the season, he's going to realize the train is pulling out of the station without him, and it doesn't care. The game goes on. Tom, you're retired. See you later. Bye. We're going forward with football. And that's why I think even though he could say, truthfully, today, I'm done, how's he going to feel in July or August?
Did you hear that? Something I've been saying for months. Right now, it doesn't matter. What matters is come July, August, September. The guy lives here. Change his mind on a whim. There's a question here from Finzaholic. Finzaholic says, the reason why Brady isn't here is because Miami told him that his only job here would be to Tua back up. Stop lying to the community. When Miami did, he retired the day after. Okay. So let me ask you a question. Well, actually, I'll answer your question. Do I think Tom Brady is coming back? I feel the same way that Florio does. Oh my God, I agree with Florio. And here's why. I haven't seen, and I don't think anybody has seen, any indication that Tom Brady wants to come back and play football. We see Tua working out. We see Kenny Pickett working out. I've seen Trevor Lawrence. I've seen Deshaun Watson. There is no way that Tom Brady is at home drinking iced tea, not working out, and expects to get a call saying, you know what, Tom, you want to come play? Yeah, I'll think about it. Not going to happen. Not going to happen whatsoever. When you see videos of Tom Brady working out to get in football shape, I'm not talking about his TB12 stuff. The guy's in fantastic shape. He's going to keep working out that way. But if he invites some guys down to the mansion, and there's a huge field in front of his house, and you start seeing videos of him throwing, and you start seeing videos of him doing routes with the receivers and everything else, that's when I'm going to go, whoa, something's up. But he's not going to be able to come back. Let's say with all the rumors that Tua, God forbid, goes down in week 3. Brady's not going to be playing in week 4. Brady's not going to be playing in week 5. It can't happen. It just can't happen. The only way Tom Brady, if it ever the clouds align, the only way somebody like Tom Brady is going to be able to step in on a moment's notice, if he's already been reading the playbook, if he's already been throwing to people, if he's already been getting in football shape, that's the only way it happens. Thus far, I've seen nothing to indicate that that's even on his mind or that he's even doing stuff like that. So Tua, as of today, is that guy. He is number one. He is QB1. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Tua is QB1. But that's in April.
I think he may feel very differently. And maybe that's why he's playing this game. Even though he's done for now, maybe he knows deep down there's a chance he's going to want to come back, whether it's the Dolphins or somebody else. And I think when we get closer to the start of the season, he's going to be going through a lot of angst because he spent more than half his life
I agree.
playing football in the NFL.
I think he's still got some passion to play there, too. But, by the way, if you ever think Tua and his personality is going to tell the greatest of all time, please let it never going to happen. Never.
Wouldn't you like to see that, though? I mean, that's the thing. Like, sometimes, Tua's too nice. You know, he went through that Deshaun Watson crap a couple of years ago, and he just took it from Brian Flores and company. I mean, at some point, wouldn't you like to have Tua just stand up and just, you know? I mean, I'd love to hear him say, hey, Tom Brady, just mind your own business.
Yeah, I think we all would. So I just realized we are having a horrendous thunderstorm out here in Boca. So if I go blip and I'm done, it's not because I turned anything off, it's because power just went. But it's crazy raining right now. So I have one video left to play, and that'll take some more questions here. So if I can get to it, let me go to it.
You got your own issues. I got my issues. You're not coming here. I'm the quarterback here. Keep my team's name out of your mouth. I just think, and of course, it'd be good for our business too. But I'd love to see Tua show.
Yes, it would be good for our business. People who say that I do clickbait, that I'm just doing this because of Tua and Brady and their name, you have to understand, you guys are commenting. You guys comment wherever you go. You go on Facebook, you go on Twitter, you go on YouTube, you comment. You comment to engage. People put out content so you will engage. Which means if they're engaging, they're clicking. Everything is clickbait according to what some in the Tua camp think. But hey, it's good for business. It's good. This discussion is good for business. Are we doing it because of Tua? No. But if he says something, he's going to break news. If Tua, like right today, Tua's not really, I haven't seen him say anything. I know sometimes his trainer will post pictures. Great. But next time he does a media availability, do you know why they do media availabilities? Let's think. Okay, I'm going to think hard. Why do they do press conferences and media availability? Oh, because they want people to talk about it. They don't walk up to the podium and go, you know what? Today we're going to do a press conference and we want none of you to discuss what we're talking about. This is just, a couple people having a conversation. No. The reason why you have a media availability, the reason why you go on a show, the reason why you do an interview, the reason why you do a commercial, you do all this stuff because you want people to talk about it. And that's the media business.
Some fire like that.
This happens to be super.
All right, so here's my last video today, and this is what we have to look forward to for the next, month or so. The Jets fans out there. The Jets fans all of a sudden think they're going to the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl III, my dad's Super Bowl ring right here. And I feel like why am I wearing it? Because the Jets are going. And to me, watch out, everybody. Here come the Jets. Here come the Jets. And right now, we haven't had this type of quarterback maybe ever since Namath, whatever, maybe ever. But anyway, this is it. This is the missing piece for the New York Jets right here. And you know what? Guess what, all you fans of the AFC East thinks? It ain't no fun when the Rabbits got the gun, because we got the gun right now, and it is on. Our defense is better than yours. Our quarterback's better than yours. It is on. This is a great move right here. Man, kudos to Woody Johnson, to Robert Saleh, Joe Douglas, that team. And I told you guys, Woody's never been the problem. He put the money out there. He's sitting there. They are going for it, and they should. They have a playoff caliber defense, and now you got the quarterback. Watch out. The entire National Football League, we just put you on notice. Guess what? We're going to kick your butt. Here we come, Jets.
Okay. Rex Ryan, all these Jets fans, they're all over Twitter. They're all talking. They think they're Super Bowl bound. They think here it comes. It's going to be a fun year. And, we showed you the picture earlier of the ranking that these people are talking about in terms of quarterbacks. And they're putting Tua down 8, 9, 10, 12, 15. Tua has a lot to prove. Maybe not to you, maybe not to me. And in the last comment I'm going to take here, because this is just something that drives me crazy. Larry, he meant to say Barry. I can be Larry. I respect what you do despite you switching up on us. You guys understand at this point that unless you basically slit your wrist and say nothing but Tua is the best ever, these people will always think you're switching up, flip-flopping. So in closing, I'm just going to say this. Last season, I was nothing but applauding Tua. I was going after every media person I could because they weren't giving the guy a chance in Mike McDaniel's first year. His first year as a head coach, Tua's basically first year as a starting player under a new regime, and I thought it was really unfair. And I backed Tua 150%. And I think people got used to it. And then we got the winning streak. We had the awesome Baltimore game, and everything was fine. Everything was fine, and we busted out the gate and had some great plays. And then shit happened. And when that shit happened, we really didn't recover from it. There was no recovery. It was just a continuing slide. And so if you're honest with yourself, and you look at what happened in November and December, forget September and October. That was awesome. That was incredible. Yes. But if you're honest with yourself, if you're an honest adult, you had to look at November, December and go, oh boy, this doesn't look good. Let's talk about fixing this. And so, yeah, my content changed because the Dolphins changed. My content will always change based upon performance. My content is completely related to the performance on the field. So you can bet your ass, come September, they start winning and doing the right things. Of course, it's deserved. It's absolutely deserved. If they shit the bed, yeah, we're going to have a problem. We're going to be completely honest with what we see. That's the problem with a lot of Dolphins fans, is they don't want to hear the criticism. Everything is always hunky-dory until you got to put the bag on your friggin' head. And then when you put the bag on your head, that's the only way you determine that things are going south. Well, unfortunately for you guys who think that way, those of us who are honest to ourselves understand that things are good and things can be bad. And just because they're bad doesn't mean you don't talk about them. This isn't some mafia thing where you don't talk about the family. No, you talk about the family. If you're an honest person, you talk about the family. You have to say what you see. And if it means some of you unsubscribe, that's fine, because I will always make sure to bring you an honest perspective. Not saying I'll always be right, but it will always be an honest perspective. Win, win, win. And I will say whatever you've done well to contribute to those wins. Lose, I will expose what happened and how you contributed to the loss. You got to take the good with the bad, people. You got to take the good with the bad. So next thing up is the draft. And I have a funny thing looking at people talking about the draft and these mock drafts, and they're absolutely crazy when you realize the fan base is, no matter who the Dolphins pick on Thursday, is going to be the best pick in the draft. Oh, I like to have this tight end. Oh, I like to have this guy. It won't matter. I guarantee you'll look all over the place. That was the best pick ever. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. We won't know until he actually puts on some shoulder pads and plays with the team. Don't get overly crazy because XYZ person gets drafted. XYZ lineman, who knows what's going to happen. but I just try to keep a level perspective. I was hot on Tua. I think he played extremely well in the early part of the year. I'm revamping and relaunching Tua Tuesdays 2.0 because I think now is the time to begin talking this team up again. We've already gone through the bad stuff. Like I said before, I don't look at the old videos. All right, no more talking about what happened at the end of this year, last year. Now it's time to talk about what's coming up. And until you show something otherwise, it's time to get behind this kid. It's time to show, hey, listen, you're going to be the QB as far as anybody knows. And so what it tells me is that we all have to just say, all right, here we go. It's April. Let's see what happens in camp. Let's start the balling out in camp, doing what you need to do. And until it's time not to be nice, let's go ahead and be nice. Let me know what you guys think. Chris Zilli says, without talent on the offense, I would... Okay, here we go. Let me just play this. With all the talent on the offense, I would expect just about any QB in this system to put up great numbers. Yeah, numbers don't matter. Nope, they don't matter. Never mattered to me. Never mattered to me as a player. Never mattered to me as a coach. Never mattered to me as a fan. There's only one number that matters. That's win. Did you win? And even then, did you win your last game of the season? Because if you win your last game of the season, that means you're the champion. Talk to you guys really soon. If you can join me on the draft on Thursday and Friday, I'd love to have you. And be safe out there, especially if you're in